welcome everybody. There should be a few more joining us. It's probably in the next few minutes, but we're going to get going. Liz got up very early for us this morning. It's 7 o'clock in the morning for her. And she lives in New Zealand. So we really appreciate it, Liz, that you coming on and doing this for us. Thank you so much. What I'm going to do is I just want to talk just very, very briefly before we start the actual thing with Liz and going into the breakout rooms, is to talk about what Liz is going to be talking about emotional eating and talking about finding your inner sanctuary as well. So what we are going to talk about today is to really try and get ourselves onto an even keel by looking at what Liz is teaching us, as well as what I do in my coaching. And in my coaching, I talk a lot about self-care, talk about the different aspects of self-care. And self-care comes in many, many different ways. We have the physical one, which is just taking care of yourself from a physical point of view. It's also the emotional aspect, the mental aspect, which is the stimulation, getting out and reading, learning new things. And of course, we've got the spiritual aspect. Now, when I talk spiritual, I'm not talking religion. I'm talking more from a point of view of what feeds your soul. And this is where I really wanted to get into tonight because of having Liz come on board. Liz and I actually do a lot of the same kind of things in the way that we both work. And that is why I invited her to join us tonight, because I can totally relate to what she does. And I think that all of you, knowing me, can relate to that too. Liz uses things like EFT, which is emotional freedom techniques, which is tapping, which a few of you do know about. And this is a brilliant way of learning how to calm yourself down, or to use from a point of view of moving yourself forward and handling certain issues that may come up in your life. So you'll hear more about that from Liz, and it's also in the workbook which you've so kindly put together for us, and which we really appreciate. The other thing is that next month, starting from next month, we are going to be changing the way we're doing things as Steel Sisters. We will still be having once a month. We will be having a talk with a guest speaker. So that is an important aspect for you to know, that it's only going to be once a month and not twice a month as it's been up to now for the last year. This is our last meeting of the year, and I want to thank all of you in a huge way for being a part of Steel Sisters for the last year, and for helping me to build what we have today, and to helping it to grow into something that is going to be very special going forward. I'm busy working with my team at the moment on planning the next year, where we are going with the next year and what we're going to be doing. We had 10 days ago, we had a meeting on a Tuesday morning with a get together with a few people, to get to know one another a bit better, to connect and to inspire one another. And it was fantastic the way it really worked out. And the response I got was really, really great. I had a lot of people who asked me, could we change the day? Could we change the time? It didn't suit me. I couldn't do it. I had a babysit. I had to this, I had to do that, I had to work, or whatever it was. And I totally understand that. But we can't please all of the people all of the time. So what I am thinking of doing, and I will be putting out a poll in the next few days, talking about where we're going, but I am thinking of having possibly one meeting one day a month, and one, so it'll be like in the morning and one in the evening, so that hopefully to accommodate those who are working or those who can't, for whatever reason, can't come during the day. And hopefully that will solve that problem, as well as obviously having our guest speakers coming on once a month. And there will be other things going on. Will be workshops and lots of other activities in the pipeline that are on the cards. And we will be hearing a lot more about this in the next couple of weeks. What we're going to do now is we are going to go into our breakout rooms. what we do in the breakout rooms, just to Liz, to put you into the picture, and Ilana and a few of the others who haven't been on for a little while, is to tell you is that we go into a breakout room and we take a particular word and we discuss that word as a way of breaking the ice for us to be able to talk to others in the breakout room and connect and get to know one another. Okay. We will come out of the breakout room afterwards, and after that we will just be having one person from each breakout room will talk about what was discussed in the breakout room. So those of you who are not that fond of breakout rooms, I totally understand it, but it is the only way for us on Zoom, where we're in the comfort of our homes, to be able to really get involved and to meet one another and to get on board. And I just have to welcome a very special guest, Alison. Welcome. Alison is all the way from Scotland. And so we're really a nice international team today. So welcome, Alison. I'm thrilled that you're here. And this is really what we are planning. And obviously feedback as far as anything that you particularly want, a speaker that you want, anything like that, please send me messages, let me know, and I will then be able to put it into my planning for the next coming year of how we want to move the Steel Sisters forward. But a huge thank you to all of you for all that you have done to help to make this year the great year that it's been as far as Steel Sisters goes. The word that we're going to use tonight is going to be, how do we help ourselves, okay, from a self-care perspective? How do we help ourselves from a self-care perspective? And then we will come out in a few, we're going to be in the breakout rooms for a maximum of 10 minutes. So you'll each only get a few minutes to talk in the breakout rooms, and then we'll be back, and then we'll go on to having a little bit of a feedback, and then into Liz's talk, and with questions and answers afterwards. So if anybody has any questions, that you are more than welcome to ask afterwards. All right, so Vicky, can you please do your magic for us and put us into the breakout rooms? So how did it go? Phyllis, do you want to start?
Start already? Wow. Well, hi, everyone who I don't know you all at all.
Well, welcome. I don't know you, so welcome, Phyllis.
Right. Oh, there's Daniela, and I know Marianne, and oh, Sandy doesn't know that I know her, but
for
I
a
do.
long time, Phyllis.
I remember you, Phyllis.
Okay.
I remember you too.
Yeah. Gosh, we've all had such amazing journeys, but what we talked about is that we don't necessarily value ourselves. We don't necessarily realize our own self-worth and magiali, and we deserve to worry about ourselves, take care of ourselves. And one point that I made was that sometimes we just have to do a tiny little bit of hishtadlut, a tiny little effort. Whether it's asking the kids to come next week because you're swamped this week, or it's just asking one person if you could not do the job and if they can cover for you, and then all of a sudden you're free. You've given yourself the gift of time and opportunity, and we don't realize how often we have to act on that. We have to make that happen.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, we'll just like steamroll it over and busy all the time. And so we have to realize that sometimes we have to stop and say, I need a break here. I need some time. I need to switch focus for a minute.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. And this is a vital part of it. So thank you. I love the way you put that in.
Well done, Phyllis.
Yeah, excellent. Well done.
I told them I love to hog the mic,
Okay, well, we'll have to keep that in mind for future activities as well. Thank you, Phyllis. I really appreciate that. Okay, who was in the other groups? Vanessa, you want to speak for your group?
Yeah, and then Susan, and also where are we? Alison, and we also had Liz. Are welcome to jump in. I mean, how we ended it was really interesting. We spoke about relationships and how to choose the right energies and the right people around us. And one of like, I suppose I call it a challenge, but I know you all could, have another word, but it's about letting go of those people who drain you or take quite a lot of the energy. And then what do we like? We need the tools. We need the steps. And it's amazing how like Susan and where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Alison, there we are. Spoke about also all the different activities that they do. Like they know when to say stop.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Carry on, Susan, because you said something really
No,
nice.
I'm
You
just
sure?
saying you're doing well. You're doing
Okay,
beautifully.
okay. And Alison also mentioned like some very good energies that she practices with people around the world on Zoom, from all over the world. And it just makes you think about like talking about what Phyllis said about the opportunities and making the time for it. So I think it's not only building the right relationships with others, but building the right
Relationship with ourselves.
Yeah, which is a challenge. I'm not saying
Well, that's the whole thing. And it also brings in things like setting boundaries and things of that nature. But we have to set boundaries with ourselves too. When I talk about setting boundaries, it's not only with others, but it's setting boundaries with ourselves, which is a very difficult thing for some people to do. That was very interesting. Okay.
Can I jump in? We used to tease a friend who had a sign all over her house, discipline, on the refrigerator, discipline, in the bathroom, discipline, in the kitchen, discipline, in the bedroom, discipline. And like, we used to make fun of her, but the bottom line is that she was right. Like a little bit of control, like don't just do everything hefker. You have to think about what you're doing and know that you're on following steps and you're not just doing whatever.
Correct.
The word of discipline sounded so silly at the time, but she really had her act together.
Some people don't realize they're doing it. Okay.
Yeah.
Ilana, any contributions here?
No, I think Phyllis represented our group. I think all the ideas, I'm absolutely exhausted and happy just to listen. Thank you for asking.
Okay. Anybody else in the other group? Who was the third group? Daniela, yeah.
All right, so I think what our group, which was Adrian and Joanne and Sandy and myself, which was amazing. Adrian started us off by talking about something very important, which is sleep. And she mentions that she allows herself to sleep with no feelings of guilt, which I thought was beautiful. I think, because we do kind of think, I can't sleep till 9 o'clock in the morning. That's and sleep is one of the most important things that we need in our life. And especially at this age, I found when our sleep gets interrupted so much with all sorts of things, I think sleep is really important.
It does. It's vital for us.
Yeah. And then Sandy and Joanne really talked about things that feed their souls, which is really being with others and giving to others, which allows them to feed their own, to get their own value and self-worth. So Joanne has a 2-year-old grandson who she spends precious 20 minutes every morning taking him to gun, and they have the most beautiful conversations. And that to her feeds her soul, and that's beautiful, I think. And with Sandy being a medical clown, she is able to be, I don't know if I want to say somebody else, but herself without inhibitions. And she's allowed to express herself without inhibitions because she is the clown, which really feeds her soul and makes her feel valuable and worthy. So I think that was beautiful.
Beautiful. Lovely things. So this is great. And lots of food for thought for all of us. And lots of great stuff for us to take forward, going in many different directions. Okay, so I'm now going to introduce our beautiful guest of honor, Liz Gow. And Liz is going to talk about emotional eating and finding our inner sanctuary, which is very important especially for a lot of us who've gone through so much in this last 14 months. So Liz, over to you.
Thank you. So I'm just going to share the screen.
Oh, wait, hold on a moment. I need to give you, hold on. I need to make you co-host. Okay. Okay. Okay, so there you go.
Okay. Ah, there we go. Thank you. So
There we go.
I'm hoping that you can see a full screen, but yeah. Hey. Okay, ladies, I can't tell you how thrilled I am to be here, and thank you so much, Michelle.
It's a pleasure.
Already listening, like with the right folks, so that's cool. So today, just briefly touching on the points that we do, and kind of want to say a disclaimer because there's so much more than what I'm able to share with you, but I hope this is of use. So you've all been given a workbook, and on page 15, there's a blank page for notes. If you don't have your workbook, it's okay, because the questions that we need and the prompts that you'll need will be on these slides here. So just to double check that everybody's got some paper, pens or pencils or crayons to journal with. I'll do a very brief introduction, a grounding exercise, and we'll do a little bit about understanding emotional eating and creating your inner sanctuary, and then we'll finish with some EFT. So very, very brief introduction. I did have another slide, and I was going to introduce myself the way the Māori do, because they don't say, hi, I'm Liz Gow. They will introduce their parents, where they're from, the mountain, the water that they affiliate to, and then, yeah, but anyway, oh, this is going by itself. Okay. So these are just some roles that I've done and I've talked through. So I'm a coach, an EFT practitioner, counsellor, somatic body practitioner. I'm sorry that it's doing its own thing. And I've been an occupational therapist for 18 years. I'm a SoulCollage facilitator, and I do soul coaching with oracle cards, theatre healer, practitioner, creativity coach, and hypno success soul coach. I do a little bit of that. I've done lots of training all over the world. I'm embodied recovery provider. Actually, that's just some stuff that I've done in terms of eating disorders and emotional eating. A little bit about my own story. First diet at 10, had an eating disorder at 16, and just various versions of emotional eating and the disordered eating that was around for about 20 years. I've done the boot camps, the diets, all the rest of it. And I've learned a lot through professional experiences, personal ones, and a lot through incredible women I've worked with over 30 years. Now, how can I stop this doing its own thing?
Okay.
Is
Because you're on.
Is it through Canva, Liz?
No, it's PowerPoint.
Okay, so if you, it's a bit of a process to take off the automatic. Somehow you must have clicked automatic.
Right.
Then it's moving at it with a time. I mean, I could guide you through undoing it, but it's going to take a good 3 or 4 minutes.
But it looks like it's not moving. I think it was just
Yeah.
Well, it might be time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay,
try
I
it
do
and see what
apologize.
happens.
You
If
go
it really
back
worries
to
you.
just go back to the screen before. I'm sure it'll allow you to do that.
yeah, it's fine.
So let's go. I do apologize for any of the disruption, and hopefully that's okay now. Thank you.
Okay.
So I just want to do a quick grounding exercise with you. And this is a tiny part of a somatic experience. And I know Michelle does work like this as well. So why it helps is that not only does it connect us to our body, but it connects us to our present moment. And it can be so, so simple. And so when we get the urge to emotionally eat, or we've got some experience that we feel like we're in our head, this is so simple. And the more we practice, the easier we can use it anytime that we want. So if we do a simple sensory check-in, so that's just noticing anything in your body right now, and noticing if there's any discomfort, or if you feel highly activated or a bit frustrated or really tired, just notice that. And on a scale of 0 to 10, if 10 is that there's quite a lot of activity there, and 0 is, no, I'm not really noticing anything, just choose one thing and rate it on the scale. And then we're going to just do something simple, and then we rate it again afterwards. So I can tell that I'm a little bit nervous. So I would say probably about a 6. Yeah, I've got some butterflies in my tummy. So about a 6. So it's that kind of feeling. You're not trying to change it. We're just going, good to know. And then I'm just going to ask you to notice 3 things that you hear. What are 3 things that you hear? Notice 2 things to touch. So that could be your hair, your clothes, you're aware of your seat, where your feet are. What are 2 things to touch? And what's 1 thing that you can see? I'm going to throw in the other 2 senses here. So I'd like you to notice 1 thing that you can smell. What can you smell? And the last one would be, what can you taste? And if you can't taste anything, is your mouth moist or dry? Now check in with whatever sensory experience you are having. And where is it on the scale now? So for me, I'm now about a 3. For you, it might be different. It might not be change. It doesn't matter. It's what you're learning to do by being present through all your senses. And this is something to practice, not just when you really need it, but just to keep practicing. So when you do need it, you can bring back yourself quite easily. So emotional eating, it's basically eating to soothe feelings rather than satisfy hunger. And we all do this. It's natural. It's part of it. Some of the common triggers are things like being stressed, boredom, having habits, feeling lost, lack of focus, like don't know what you're going to do and there's nothing that you're really keen to do. And also avoiding emotions, not only avoiding them, but trying to soothe them. So emotional eating is normal. It can become unhelpful if it suppresses emotional needs, including fear and anxiety, rather than addressing them. So it doesn't mean you have to go all in, but it is understanding you that your emotion is there for a reason. So one of the first prompts I'd love to encourage you to do, so it's page 2 in the workbook, but I'd love for you to think about a recent time when you ate for reasons other than hunger. Doesn't matter what it's about, it's not judging, but choose a time when you ate and you wasn't really hungry, even if it was, well, I just wanted it, and then answer these 4 questions, please. So what was happening? How were you feeling? Did eating resolve the feeling? If it did, why? And if it didn't, why not? And how long did it last for? So I'm just going to give us 2 minutes. So this is really coming from an intuitive place, not analyzing. I'm going to give us 2 minutes. And if you've got any questions, just ask me. Okay. You have 1 minute. Twenty seconds. Okay, so you can always come back to these questions anytime. And they're really good ones to ask when you feel like you want to emotionally or you have. And just understanding that emotional eating is normal. It's just how often we do it and when it becomes detrimental to our body, well, body, mind, and spirit. So look at what you've written and just kind of see if you can see a pattern. So often what can happen is we've got this trigger. So say if the trigger is feeling, I was a little bit anxious the other day because something's going on for my niece in the UK and now here in New Zealand. So, you know, it's understandable to be anxious. And then I didn't realize, I mean, I've been doing this for so long and we're human and it happens, that I was nibbling. I wasn't kind of overeating too much, but I was nibbling and I definitely was not hungry. So that was my trigger. But the emotion that I was really feeling, it came later, was I was anxious and I'm a bit fearful for what's happening to her right now. So that's where the eating came in, but I didn't identify that before the eating. So what happened was there was a temporary relief and it was crunchy. For me, sometimes I like crunchy. But then what happened on that part is you can get triggered into believing and the old feelings and judgments about emotional eating without you realizing it. So you have a trigger, really good reasons, and then you come back and the cycle becomes, I shouldn't really have eaten that. I didn't really need it. Or you might not even know that, but then you do it again. And so we go round in a circle and the trigger can be 1 or 2 different things. So we get into this pattern, into this circle. So one of the first places to look at for emotional eating is 1, to hold compassion for yourself, and 2, to notice that it is a cycle. And why that's helpful, and we'll be looking at this when we get to your sanctuary, is we can start learning how to interrupt the cycle or even pause just for a moment, but there needs to be lots of compassion. So I hope this makes sense, how we can start off with one thing and then it can morph into something else. And a lot of this is really, well, for me, it used to be numbing, like you might not even be aware of it and you just want it. but it's for good reason. It's saying, oh, okay, so what else could I use that's comforting as well? And learning how to do that. So emotional eating as messengers. This is going to sound really weird, but honestly, it's so true. Emotional eating as messengers can be one of your superpowers. It can really be one of your superpowers. It can be an absolute gift when you start to learn and realize that maybe when you get the craving to emotionally eat, that's usually about a 9 or a 10 when you get a real craving. So it's hard to interrupt that. But as you lower your numbness bar, so you get more feelings, you start to identify it, say it's a 6 or a 7 before it comes a 10. And what it's telling you is like, yeah, something's going on in here. And then learn to be curious about it. So it may be, well, for me, even now, I have the habit between 4 and 5 o'clock. So we have tea at 6:30-ish when we're hungry, but around about there. No matter what I've done, I always want something to eat there. Now that's in the afternoon. And if I want it, I have whatever it is that I want. But I check in with that more now. You know, I might have some water, I might have a drink, or I might have a snack. It's a habit more than anything. So if I do emotionally eat, for that reason, I don't do that much. It's like, okay, it's a choice that I made to try and not beat up about it. But when it's about because your heart is aching and you're scared or fearful, I'm a bit anxious about my niece, that's telling me, oh, I need to be aware of that for myself. I can feel myself a bit emotional now thinking about my niece, you know, I'm a bit scared for her. And that's very real. So I can pay attention to that. And not for long. If I've got somebody to speak to, I might do that. I might do some journaling. I might not want to be with it at all, or I might just sit and cry, or as long as I notice it, even for a moment, and go, wow, okay. And some of you spoke about your self-care practices. Self-care is key for emotional eating, absolutely key, no matter what it looks like, no matter what you're doing. It doesn't have to be self-care in the moment. It's building it up. It's taking care of you and looking after you, that you then can deal with these messages of what's happening and start to learn that, yeah, it is because I'm bored. Okay, do I do this or do I do that? How do I learn to sit with boredness? How do I pick something up for 5 minutes? You start to learn about yourself. I hope this makes sense. So, emotions as messengers on your page 4 of the workbook, if you're using your workbook, I've got some reflection prompts. So we're going to be looking just very briefly at emotions often signal an unmet need. So if you can think of an emotion you felt recently and just write that emotion down and say you did emotionally eat, or it was an emotion that you didn't want to feel because it's uncomfortable or it's scary or whatever the reason is, what might that emotion be telling you? And what might you need instead of food? So to find an emotion that you recently felt that felt uncomfortable or you didn't want to feel, what is it actually letting you know? And what might you need without the food? So I'm just going to give you 2 minutes. So we have 1 minute. And just notice what you notice in your body when you're writing or thinking about this. Are there any sensations in your body and whereabouts in your body? You don't have to figure it out. Just notice, what is your body doing? You might not notice anything. About 20 seconds. So as we complete this part, I'm just going to ask if you feel okay, just to write the emotion that came up for you. Just the emotion or the feeling in the chat, please. What was the emotion? Sense of comfort, yeah, anxiety, of overload, boredom, anxious, boredom, frustration. I feel needy, like needing to be seen and appreciated, so I deserve a treat. Yeah, got you, Phyllis. A lot of us do. So when you look at these emotions, even the feeling of feeling comfort, it's telling you something. There's a message there. And we often notice the message either through a behavior or wanting to emotionally eat. So the more that we know that, we can look and wonder, well, how long does that relief, or how long does it feel okay when I've eaten? And does it really solve anything? And most of the answer is no. Maybe briefly, and sometimes it works for a little bit. And what we're looking at is, if you do emotionally eat a lot, to not beat yourself up about it, but at the same time, start learning different ways and different strategies, but holding compassion for yourself. So when we look at emotions as messengers, one of the biggest reasons that emotional eating comes is because the emotions are not being acknowledged. We might not even know that we're having them or what they are. But our body holds all of this, and our mind is incredible. So it's going to push and let you know, and then it's going to do this emotional eating thing for a moment, maybe a bit longer for some, but it's almost like it needs to be seen, just like Phyllis said about being seen. So even if you can name the feeling and do whatever it is that you want to do, then that's a starting place. So if it's like, I feel butterflies in my tummy, my heart feels sad, feel a bit choked here, your body knows what you're talking about. And we're going to do some EFT later on. So it's like, I am stressed, I feel fear, I'm scared, and I feel anxious. Okay, so let's acknowledge that and either do something with it and then come back to the here now. So it's not ignoring it, it's acknowledging it and then learning how to deal with it. And everybody's got a different depth. If there's trauma around, or you're not feeling well, or there's different things, this is a starting place. And practice mindfulness, so use deep breathing or meditation. Now, I know when I've been doing meditation for years and years, or taught it for years and years, meditation doesn't necessarily sit being quiet and trying to connect. When you're a bit anxious, some people can do the breathing and calm down. But in this place, what I'm talking about is to really just become present and be aware of your breath. Eyes open, eyes closed, just be aware of your breath. That is meditation as well. So if you can do meditation, great. Even if you're looking out and watching something in nature, that's meditation. Or you watch something that, you know, you can get your feet on the grass or the ocean. That's all meditation too. And try using healthier coping strategies. So you might try journaling or exercise, moving, or hobbies. There's lots of different ways. Seek support, talk to a friend or a therapist, or join, you know, be part of a group like we're here now. Create healthy routines. This is key. So a great subject is to prioritize self-care. Sleep is massive, as we've just heard, and relaxation. Now, I am not a person that can sit back and relax and go. I can sometimes. I'm an active relaxer. So learn that about yourself. You might relax doing colouring in. I colour in a lot. I'm learning to do crochet, silly animal things. So it's learning different ways that you can pick up. And what happens is you become your own pharmacy, which is in another slide. This will all tie up. So I hope this makes sense, and it's not telling you what to do, but it's a starting place. So I'd love for us to start connecting and creating your inner sanctuary. So I want to do a guided visualization, and it's going to take maybe, I don't know, maybe 5-7 minutes. So I'm hoping that you've all experienced a guided visualization in some way. It's going to be very peaceful. We're going to be creating your sanctuary where you feel comfortable and safe in. So just make yourself feel as comfortable as possible. Being aware of your seat, being aware of your breath, and then sitting back and leaning into yourself and knowing that you're held. Notice your feet on the ground. And if you haven't closed your eyes, just gently close your eyes or lower your gaze. Just have a softening around your eyeballs. Notice the top of your head. Breathing in and breathing out. Take a deep breath in and slowly let it out. Feel the weight of your body where you're sitting. Let yourself sink into the support beneath you. Allow any tension in your shoulders, jaw, or hands to soften. Breathe naturally, deeply, and easily. Imagine yourself walking along a quiet path. It's peaceful here. You notice the path gently leading you to a place where you feel completely safe, calm, and at ease. This is your sanctuary, a space that is just for you. Take a moment to look around. What do you see in your sanctuary? Perhaps there are trees, flowers, or soft grass. Maybe you see a cozy chair, a glowing fire, or a gentle stream. Let the scene unfold naturally in a way that feels perfect for you. Now listen. Are there birds singing, water flowing, a soft breeze rustling through the leaves? Or perhaps there's complete silence, wrapping you in stillness, Notice whatever sounds bring you a sense of comfort. Breathe in deeply. What scents fill the air? Maybe the fresh scent of pine trees, blooming flowers, or salty ocean air. Let the smells anchor you deeper into this peaceful place. Now, reach out and touch something in your sanctuary. How does it feel? Is it the smooth surface of a rock, the softness of moss, or the warmth of sunlight on your skin? Feel the textures and sensations that surround you. If your sanctuary has flavors, what might they be? Maybe it's a sip of cool, refreshing water, or a hint of citrus in the air. Let yourself savor any comforting taste that arises in your imagination. Take a moment now to simply be here. Feel the peace and the safety of your sanctuary wrapping around you like a soft blanket. This space is yours. It belongs to you. And you can return anytime you need to feel calm, centered, and supported. Your sanctuary is always here for you. Whenever you feel overwhelmed or drawn to eat for emotional reasons, pause and take a few moments to visit this space. You can visit here as many times as you wish. And in fact, the more you visit, the easier it will be to come here when you feel drawn to emotionally eat, or when you are experiencing any emotions. Let it remind you of your strength, your peace, your ability to meet your needs in other nourishing ways. When you're ready, take a deep breath in and let it out slowly. Begin to notice the weight of your body again and the surface beneath you. Wiggle your toes and fingers. Bringing yourself back to the present moment. When you're ready, open your eyes. Carry in this sense of calm from your sanctuary within you. So on your page 6, we want to bring your sanctuary to life. So I'm just going to give you 3 minutes to answer some of these questions and to really be connected to your sanctuary, to describe it so you can easily connect to it next time. So I'll just give you 3 minutes. So you have about 45 seconds. About 20 seconds. So just notice how you're feeling connected to your inner sanctuary. We're going to look at how you can use it. So a simple way, and I'm not saying it's easy, but it is simple, is to pause. So when you feel like emotional eating or you've got something coming up for you, I often hold my breath, like I'll breathe in and I'll just hold my breath. I don't always think about that. And it just gives me that pause. And then closing your eyes and visiting your inner sanctuary. Now, it's something to practice and to build up, and it doesn't happen all the time, but it's one way of doing that. And to ask yourself, like really go into your body. You're not asking your mind, you're asking your body, what am I feeling? And you may not be able to describe it, but you might be able to identify it in your body. And then ask that part, ask, what do I truly need right now? You might not know, again, you're learning, but it's like, what do I truly need right now? And to replace the eating with any other self-care action. And for when you start off for a long time, it's maybe doing the both. So if you do emotional eating, don't beat yourself up. But what's a self-care practice that you can do? Or even naming what it is that you were trying to not feel or that you did need comfort in. And the more you take care of yourself in self-care practices and do things that you love, the less emotional eating will have an impact on you. So it's like breaking the cycle we had before. When you get the trigger, that pausing is a way that you can start interrupting the cycle and then visit the sanctuary. Then it gives you an option, gives you your brain to come online because you're not so stressed or overwhelmed. And it gives you what's an alternative. So it's just a way to start practicing. So in building resilience, you guys have got so much resilience. You're here. I mean, all of you have lived a life and you've got incredible resilience already. When we've got good self-care, it actually reduces the need for emotional eating. There's strong evidence, loads of research on how to work with emotional eating, and a lot of it is the self-care practices. Doing fun activities, hobbies, games, things like this that align us. Because when you do something fun, you're actually aligning your body, mind, and spirit. But we don't see these fun things as important. They're actually vital. And creative outlets, doesn't matter what it is, art, music, restorative practice, movement, meditation, yoga, tai chi. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's varied and you're doing it consistently. And what happens here is you release your own inner pharmacy. Because when we're in our stress, we release stress hormones. And the stress hormones flood our bodies. We react and respond to them. We're actually our own inner pharmacy. When we do the things we love, when we're with people that we love, we release like oxytocin, and serotonin is a hormone that they use in antidepressants. So they actually use it in Prozac. So when we are aligned with good self-care practices, and we look after ourselves in different ways, we're actually raising not only our vibration and frequency, we're releasing the hormones that heal us and make us feel better. So emotions are messages. So practicing the grounding. So focus on your senses to stay present. And this is a little post, the little boy is like delivering a message. Learn emotional regulation. And that's a bit of a different topic. Self-soothing or self-compassion techniques, both actually. Redirect focus, whether you find a passion or a new learning, or even when you're feeling something and you're right in the moment of it, it's like, okay. And then what was I doing? And bring yourself back to the here now, and even like drinking a water or bring your senses back to the here now. Very simple things to start with. Engage in activities that bring you joy and or relaxation, releases those hormones. So I want to just do, and I'm sorry, I feel like I've gone over time a lot. I'm so sorry, Michelle, and
That's
everybody.
Okay.
But if I can then, thank you. How about then we just go into an EFT practice, and the next couple of slides just tell you about what EFT is about. And in your handout, in the workbook, I've given you a couple of pages with EFT setup statements and tapping points, so you can do that more for yourself. So I'm just going to skip to you'll get this handout, these slides as a handout. Okay, so let's go straight.
I wanted to stop you right here, if I may, for a second, and just ask, are there any questions before we go into the EFT, or would you prefer that we do it afterwards? Any questions anybody has right now? No? Okay, so let's go into EFT. I'm not getting any response, so. Okay.
So notice how you're feeling right now, or think about your urge to eat, even when you're not physically hungry. So either tap into how you're feeling right now. If something's around for you now that you would like to be calmer, choose that. Or if you can tap into a feeling you get when you've got this urge to eat, tap into that. So choose one or the other. And this technique we can use for cravings or any time. On a scale of 0 to 10, where 10 is the strongest, rate the intensity of that right now. So what's the intensity? Keep that number in mind, and we're going to start tapping. So I don't know if any of you have done EFT before, but we always start, actually we don't always start, but we start usually tapping on the side of the hand here. So this beautiful fleshy bit, and we just use like our fingers tapping gently. And what we do when we tap here is we set up a statement, and the statement is something like this. So we're going to use this, even though I feel this urge to eat. So if you've got, even though I feel anxious, even though I feel fear, even though I feel irritated, whatever it is that you are feeling, is you're telling your body, even though I feel this urge to eat or I feel this emotion, it's okay. I'm honoring it. I'm not going to try and stop it. And your body can then honor that feeling and that sensation, because it doesn't have to fight to stop, because you're going, even though I feel this, I accept you. So this statement can be, I deeply and completely accept myself. Some people can't say that, I deeply and completely accept myself. So you might say, I honor, this is my experience right now. I hope this makes sense. So you usually do this setup 3 times. So on the side of our hand, so if I say the words and just repeat back to yourself, so you might want to mute yourself, please. So if you can mute yourself and then you can say out loud the words to yourself. You don't have to say it out loud, but it's helpful. So even though I feel this urge to eat, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I feel anxious, so you use your phrase, I honor, this is what I feel right now. Even though I feel this urge to eat, I deeply and completely accept myself. So then what we go on to are the tapping points. So the tapping points are from your, just inside your eyebrow, and it's like a big question mark. So you start here, oops, sorry, you start here and then you follow the bone around to the side of your eye, then under your eye, under your nose, under your lip, your bottom lip, and then you've got collarbone here. So it's one side or both. And then under your arm where your bra line is where we'll tap. And then the last one will be the top of your head. Now you will hear various options of those, but that's what we'll be doing today. And that's what you've got in your handout. So the statement that we're going to use with the tapping is, so just repeat after me. So we start here. You can do 2. I tend to do 1. And it's about 5 to 7 times is, I feel this urge to eat. And I'm open to finding peace instead. Come to the side of your eye, on the bone. I feel this urge to eat. I am open to finding peace instead. So if you haven't got that statement, I feel this anxiety under the eye. I'm open to finding peace instead. On the collarbone, so just this knobbly bit here, so you could do 1 or both. I feel this urge to eat. I'm open to finding peace instead. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't do under the nose, did I? I'm so sorry, ladies. I feel this urge to eat. I'm open to finding peace instead. Under the bottom lip, I feel this urge to eat. I'm open to finding peace instead. So then it would be a collarbone. So we'll go under the arm. I feel this urge to eat. I'm open to finding peace instead. And then the top of the head. I feel this urge to eat. And I'm open to finding peace instead. Taking a deep breath in. Breathing out. And then just go to your scale of 0 to 10 and notice what you notice if there's a difference. Sometimes it's lower, sometimes it's the same, and sometimes it might be a little bit higher because you're actually feeling. But what this does, what tapping does, is it calms your nervous system, your fight, flight, and freeze. It brings your nervous system into a calmness. Now, if you're really struggling and you've got this strong craving, what you can do is just tap on here. This is your thalamus. And so it's like the Tarzan place, you know, like Tarzan. So there's this power place here. And you can just say, even though I have this craving, one of the sayings is, I love and accept myself. Even though I have this craving, I honor this is my experience. Even though I'm scared, I love and accept all of me. Even though I know that I'm anxious, whatever it is, I love and accept myself. Even though I really want to eat, and I know it's not good for me, but I really want to eat, I love and accept all of me. So you will hear lots of different ways of doing EFT. And what can happen is that when you reassess the urge, like we've just done, you take a breath, think about the urge again to eat, and rate that again if it hasn't gone down, and then just do it again. And then just notice the shift. So you just keep repeating. And if you do emotionally eat, just hold compassion. So for final reflections, and I'm sorry I've gone over, I just wondered, again, on your page 14, or you might make a note, what's one thing that you learned today? How will you use your sanctuary? And what do you hold? What are you grateful for in yourself? What are you grateful for in yourself? So just a reminder that your sanctuary is always with you. Small moments of pause create big changes. Your sanctuary is a tool to care for yourself with compassion and calm. Practice, 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 practice. Did I mention to practice? So I just want to really say to you, the biggest thing here is what is self-compassion, kindness, patience, and play. So the next few slides are just a little bit of like contact, or I'll do a couple of things. So I just want to stop there and thank you all so much. And Michelle, I mean, if there's any questions, but Michelle, over to you. And
Thank you so much, Liz. This was fantastic. There has been a question. Sandy asked a question. She said, is it vital to do the tapping in the correct order, or as long as we do each point, should we be okay? So you want to answer
Sandy,
that?
brilliant question. Yeah, brilliant question. You don't have to do it in order, and you can just do it in the one place. Everybody will say different, but your body knows, because it's all the meridians that are flowing together and you're unblocking. The other thing you can do as well is, if you're out and about, you can gently squeeze this without anybody knowing, your hands on your lap, and you just gently squeeze it. Nobody knows you're doing it, and you're doing EFT. So brilliant question. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
There's loads of other ways. Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else got any other questions that they want to ask? Daniela?
I would like to say thank you, because you reminded me of my, not what you call a sanctuary, what I call my happy place that I totally forgot about. And anyone who wants to join me, oh my gosh.
Sorry, can you just go over that point again, the last one on the hand that you were showing? I didn't quite see where it was.
So here it's like your fleshy bit, the coordinate,
No,
the
I'm saying
karate chart.
when you said about putting your hand down in your lap.
Yeah. So all you do, yeah, I'm just squeezing it very gently, the fleshy part, and that's you activating your meridians.
Okay.
And so nobody knows you're doing it.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Anybody else got any
Thank you.
questions?
Thank you.
No? Okay. Right. Well, that's great. So, Liz, you want to just finish off with the different things, the SoulCollage workshop?
Yeah, I won't spend too much time because I don't want to hold you all. And I don't know if this was all too much, but any feedback would be grateful, and I hope it was helpful. So I've got a workshop in SoulCollage. So this is one of my cards in the corner, and it's a workshop to introduce you to SoulCollage. It's I'm not just saying this to get you to do this, but if ever you're interested in it, it's an amazing creative approach that is about collaging and taps into your body, soul, and mind, into your inner wisdom. So I'm doing a workshop pretty soon in January, on your January the 12th. It's a 3-hour workshop, and because it's SoulCollage, it's $50 US, but because it's you guys, it's going to be $50 New Zealand. So that really converts quite considerably for the US dollar. You learn the basics of SoulCollage to start making your own cards, and use your cards to explore your thoughts, emotions, and experiences. No artistic experience needed, just creativity and being curious. And that's the time, you're 6 to 9 p.m. on Zoom. And yeah, I've just mentioned that because you're gorgeous ladies from Steel Sisters. So thank you. I offer an ebook called Navigating Emotional Eating by Discovering Your True Hungers. It's $35, and this helps you grasp that there's various types of hunger, emotional, spiritual, and what to do with them. And there's also an introduction into using the physical, the hunger scales, to learn about where you are on the scale of hunger, and some information around that. Yeah. So thank you. Some contact details. Your inner sanctuary. You're all amazing. Discover calm, and that's it. We're finished.
Well done.
I'm just aware it's later at night for you guys, so thank you. I'm not clapping myself. I'm clapping you.
No, Liz, thank you so much. This was great. This was really fabulous. We can see from the feedback that a lot of people also really enjoyed it. You can listen to the comments, read the comments in the chat. It really, really was great. And I think we all really benefited in many ways from it. And even just simply understanding what is emotional eating. And also how to stop it.
Mm-hmm.
which I think is fantastic. And I really think it just gives us a little bit of a tip of the iceberg of what is really there to understand, but it really does help. And also these other techniques, I mean, learning about the inner sanctuary was fabulous. As Phyllis said, her happy place. Lots of other people have used that expression, but you know, going into your happy place is one thing. Talking about it is another. So it's learning how to go into that. And that was really great with that visualization. And of course, the EFT is fantastic. So overall, a really great evening. If anybody's got any comments or any questions, now's the time to ask Liz. If not, thank you so much, ladies, for joining us tonight.
Thank you, everybody.
And a huge thanks to
Thank
Liz.
you.
And
Thank you.
I hope you all enjoyed it. The recording will be up in the next couple of days, and we'll let you know on Facebook and in the WhatsApp group when the recording will be up for those of us who want to watch it again or try and learn again more from it. And of course, you've got the workbook, which you can then go back to and refer to at any time. So thank you so much, ladies, and we'll be in touch soon about new events and things coming up in the new year. And Liz, Alison,
Thank you.
to Liz and Alison, I don't know anybody else who's not Jewish here, but to you, the two of you, a Merry
Season's
Christmas and a
Merry
really Happy New
Christmas.
Year.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Exactly.
And thank you for coming on so close to Christmas when you're probably getting organized and ready for it. So we really, really do appreciate it. And thank you. Thank you, everybody. And have a good night. Please, God, it'll be a safe night and a quiet one for all of us.
Amen.
Thank you. Amen.
All right. Okay. And happy Hanukkah, because we won't be seeing you
Chag
before
Sameach.
Hanukkah. Yeah.
Bye for now.
All right. Take care, everybody.